Do mental skills matter as a slow pitch softball player? Or is the game so easy that it's really not that important? Let's talk through 6 scenarios that I think mental skills training really makes a difference in players' performance in slow pitch softball. If you're new here, I'm Dan Blewett. I'm a former pro baseball player. I've also been teaching baseball, softball, strategy, mechanics, and mental skills. This is my mental skills book right here called This Slump Shall Pass. I've been teaching this stuff to younger players for quite a long time, stuff that I learned in my pro baseball career. And as I've been observing slow pitch softball since I play and I really enjoy it, I've noticed a lot of the same things show up just the same in all of us adults. And then there's also definitely some differences where the lack of high pressure, the lack of this building career where you're marching up your first mountain, those things are a little bit different for young baseball and fast pitch players chasing that big dream compared to here in slow pitch softball. So we're going to talk about 6 different scenarios where I see mental skills training definitely making a difference in a player's performance. Feel free to jump through those in the timestamps below if you want to pick out one that's more relevant to you today. And I'm also going to give you some tips and some processes to dealing with those issues so you walk away with some action items, not just me spouting about how important your mindset might be. Number 1, slow pitch softball players struggle with their mindset when they're at the plate, when they focus too hard on outcomes and they forget about the process and the small things that they actually control. If you're a power hitter and you know you can hit a home run and you come up with 2 runners on and your team still has home runs left and you're thinking, I've got to hit a home run, that is focusing on an outcome rather than the only thing you actually control, which is getting a high quality pitch to swing at and then putting your best swing on it. Hitters get in trouble when they start really thinking about outcome first, because then maybe their back shoulder drops, they're more likely to pop it up, they overswing, and then they don't barrel it up, or they roll over it. Their mechanics change when they try too hard. This also happens with less skilled players, where maybe they know they struggle at the plate, so they're just desperate to get a hit so they don't look bad, they don't swing and miss, or they don't ground out to third base for the 3rd time in a row. And when they start trying extra hard to get that hit, now they lunge at the ball, or they swing early, and it actually is a very counterproductive thing. In baseball, my college coach said this all the time, you cannot try harder. That applies in baseball, it applies in fast pitch, it applies just the same in slow pitch. The goal is to slow down and focus on what you actually control, which is, again, your plate discipline, picking a good quality pitch that you can actually drive. So if you swing at junk, you're not going to get the outcome you want. And then number 2, putting your best swing on it. So when I go up to the plate, I'm subjected to just the same as you are. I'm a power guy. When I think, I want to drive these people in. This is my chance. This is what they want me to do. I got to back myself up, and I take a deep breath. And then I remind myself, pick a good pitch, be selective, be disciplined. I don't want to walk, but I do want to get that big center cut pitch that I can lift. That's the thing I control. And then I don't try to hit a home run. I try to put the best swing on it possible while focusing on the ball. So that's my mental process, and that's something that you can absolutely start using today if you feel like you try too hard and get stuck in outcomes at the plate. Number 2, slow pitch players definitely struggle resetting and getting their mind back in the right mental state after they make an error in the field. And I'll use myself again as an example. So everyone in my little softball community here knows I played pro baseball at this point. And so I self-impose a pressure. And also I know that they look to me in a certain way that I should make every single play ever, right? But I also didn't grow up playing infield, and I like playing infield, but it's not my best position. I was an outfielder as a kid. I was a pitcher in professional baseball. So when I play infield, I have good coordination. I can do a lot of things, and I intellectually know everything that I'm supposed to do because I've watched and instructed the game to younger players, but that doesn't mean that I have the same experience level. I haven't seen thousands and thousands of ground balls like my peers who even played high school baseball did, right? So I go out there and I feel this pressure of they expect me to make every play here in the infield, but also that isn't realistic for where my skill set is as an infielder, right? And on the other end, you could be not that skilled of a player. Maybe you're new, or maybe you just don't have a really long baseball or softball background, so you don't bring years of experience to slow pitch. And now you're constantly worried that, if I make an error, they're gonna be there it goes again, there he goes again, making another error. That's what they expect out of you. So whether you're a high level player playing slow pitch and you expect yourself to make every play, which is unrealistic, or you're a lower level player and you're afraid of the here we go again, monologue, it can be really problematic. You make one error and that's what is spinning in your head. And so the big process here is a 1, 2, 3, 4 reset. Number 1, you have to just take a deep breath. That helps you calm down. Number 2, self-talk. I self-talk all the time on a softball field in lots of different ways. But when I make an error, I actually don't get down on myself. I just think about what I could have done on that one that would have been different and what I should do next time. But then I'm like, hey, your teammates are not mad at you. I do say this because I made multiple errors in a row. Your teammates don't hate you. Just make the next play. Just relax. Just focus on the next play, right? So number 1, take a deep breath. Number 2, positive self-talk. Number 3, and this is important, go through your mental checklist. What are the things you need to do on the next play? So if I'm playing third base, it's like, okay, 1 out, runners on first and second. If it's hit hard to me, I'm going to second. Or if it's hit hard to me, I'm stepping on third. If it's hit soft to me, I'm going to first. Go through your checklist so you know what you're supposed to do as your mind's reeling from this error. And then number 4, focus on the smallest thing you need to do on the next play. If you're playing third base, again, it's just watch the pitch in, read the ball off the bat, right? You already know what you're going to do if you get a hard hit, slow hit, ground ball, whatever, because you've rehearsed it with your mental checklist. And now refocus on reading the ball off the bat. And just remind yourself of that. Read the ball off the bat, attack the ball, whatever it is. So that's your 4-step mental reset if you're in the field. And it doesn't matter if you dropped a fly ball, missed a ground ball, whatever it is, resetting and having a process to move on. Deep breath, positive self-talk, mental checklist, and then focus on the smallest action item for the next play. Real quick, if you enjoy my videos here on YouTube, check out the join button below. You'll learn about my channel memberships, where you'll get access to hundreds of videos not publicly visible here on YouTube, and tons of other free perks. So check out the join button below, and I hope to see you here as a channel member. Number 3, slow pitch softball players definitely get in their head when they have a slump. And I see it. I see the frustration. They're 0 for 3, where they were 1 for 4 last game. Now they've started off with 2, flyouts in this game, and they can feel it's a slump. I've had these as well. Sometimes I just inexplicably pop every ball up for like 2 games in a row, and I get annoyed by it. But here's the thing. Just like with the fielding process I explained, your goal is to break the game down into 1 at-bat at a time and 1 pitch at a time. It doesn't matter if you had 7 bat-at-bats. The only thing that matters is the next one. So can you reset yourself and help yourself be reminded that this is the only bat that matters, and all I need to do is pick a great pitch to swing at and put my best swing on it. If that's your mindset every time, the other 7 at-bats that you went 0 for don't matter. The only thing that matters is being focused, defining the pitch that I want to swing at, and then reminding myself and being confident that I can put a great swing on this pitch when I get it. Those are the things you can control. You don't control where the ball goes after it leaves your bat. You don't control, if you stumble out of the box and now you get thrown out at first on a ground ball you could have beaten out. You don't control any of those things, but you do control your pitch selection and whether or not you're focused on just putting your best swing in without trying harder. Because again, if you try hard to get that extra hit because you're 0 for 3, now you're less likely to get hits because your mechanics are going to change. You're going to overswing. You're going to maybe lunge at the ball, and now that slump continues. Breaking a slump starts with refocusing on the smallest actions that you can take. And as a hitter, it's see a great pitch, put your best swing on it. Number 4, in slow pitch softball, I see pitchers start to struggle more as they throw balls and they walk players. It's a cycle, and I understand this because I was a pitcher in baseball. So here's how this works in slow pitch and how you can get better at it if you're a pitcher. When you get to 3-1 count, and maybe it's an important batter that you don't want to walk. You don't want to walk the last player in the lineup because now the lineup turns over, or you've walked 2 batters in a row, and now you're starting to feel tense, like, oh, I've got to get it over the plate. That process of I have to try harder to get it over the plate makes it less likely that you'll throw strikes. And I'm sure you felt this, but as you're winging it up there, you get a little more tense, you try to guide it more, you try to control what you shouldn't be trying to control, and that makes it less likely to go in the strike zone. It's the same exact thing in baseball. The more nervous I got, the more I tried to throw strikes. Now I'm consciously controlling my pitching mechanics, and I'm much less likely to throw it as hard as I need to get the spin and all the release and all that stuff down right, and also to be relaxed and fluid. There's a reason we can throw the most strikes when we're in a bullpen or we're just warming up or we're in practice, because there's no pressure and we're not putting expectations on ourselves. So as a pitcher, if you find yourself in this position where you've walked a bunch of batters, maybe your teammates are getting on you, which is sad. Your teammates should always have your back. But whatever it is, you feel the pressure coming in that you have to start throwing more strikes. You have to fight against it by taking a deep breath, positive self-talk, remind yourself of whatever it matters. Like, hey, I'm here for a reason. My teammates have got my back. I can come back from this. I'm a good strike thrower, whatever your inner monologue is, because you don't want to have some corny dialogue that someone else told you to say. I think self-talk can feel very silly and like patronizing. Whatever your version of self-talk is, lean on it. And then number 3, what's the next thing that you can do? The smallest thing that you can do. For me as a pitcher in baseball, it was, I'm going to throw 1 strike. I'm not going to try to get this hitter out. I'm not going to try to get out of the inning. I'm not going to try to get out of this game with only 2 runs or whatever. If you start thinking the future, it gets worse. Focus on one pitch at a time, taking a deep breath, and then lock on something mentally, whether that's your catcher's glove, whether it's their kneecap, whether it's the plate, whatever it is. If you take that deep breath, lock on something visually, and try to relax, you can get back to that fluid motion where you do know how to throw strikes. That's why you're out there in the first place, right? We all have those hiccups. I've had those bad games on the mound as a baseball player. But when you can take a deep breath, focus on the one single action item, this next pitch, don't worry about what happened before. Don't worry about what might happen if you walk them. If you can get back to the present, then things will get better. Number 5, every slow pitch softball player needs to have a mental checklist when they're playing in the field. Let me explain what this means. So say I'm playing shortstop, really slow runner at first base, really fast runner at the plate. Ground ball hit deep into the hole. I'm probably not going to have a play at first because that runner's going to beat it out. It's going to be such a long throw. If I have to run more than a couple steps, it's probably taken too long and I won't get them. But if I didn't go through my mental checklist, I might think the play is dead and forget that I still have a play at second base because that runner is very, very slow. Same thing happens with errors, right? Lots of times when we make an error, hits off our glove, bounces a couple of feet, we immediately go, ugh, play's dead. But if we remember how fast the runners are, maybe our hitter is very, very slow, I still have time to make that play. So as part of your mental checklist as an infielder, you're gaming out scenarios. Okay, how fast is the runner? How fast are the base runners? How many outs are there? If it's hit soft to me, medium to me, hard right at me, where am I going to go with the ball? Am I going to go to second, start a double play? Am I going to go across? If it's hit to my right, hit to my left, hit soft, hit medium, hit hard, where am I going to go with the balls in all those scenarios, right? The same thing goes in the outfield. When I'm in the outfield, I love throwing runners out because I was a pitcher and I have a really good arm, but I also have to talk myself down and be like, hey, if it's hit shallow, I'll have a play at the plate. If it's, hit medium at me, I'll have a play. But if I have to run to my left or I have to run far to my right, I'm not going to have a play at the plate, and that's going to hurt my team if I throw past the cutoff man and throw home when I don't have a play. So I want to make sure I make smart decisions for myself and for my team. I'm going to rehearse those ahead of time, so when they happen, my brain's like, oh, you already gamed this one out. Here's what you do, and then I'm more likely to make the right play, all right? So that's called having a mental checklist, and all high-level players do this in baseball, fast pitch, and slow pitch. Number 6, lots of slow pitch players get visibly frustrated and angry when they get out, when they make a mistake, when they make a play, or they get angry at their teammates. And this is a sort of different category of mental skills because number 1, it shows a lack of emotional control, whereas especially for an adult, this is probably not going to get solved on the softball field with a mental process. This is something that, in my experience, that good coaches teach to players as they march up the ladder as they're young. And you learn to have emotional control. You learn to calm yourself down. You learn to not have outbursts on the field. And if you made it into an adulthood and you're a 25-year-old, 30, 35, 50-year-old, and you're still screaming the F word after you pop out in an important situation, you have to ask yourself some deeper questions about where does that frustration come from in a low-pressure game that really doesn't matter. Like, being competitive does not excuse a lack of emotional control, and it does not mean you're more competitive or less competitive if you show more emotion or less emotion. So as an adult playing slow pitch softball, if you have a lot of frustration and anger, I think you should look in the mirror and ask yourself the big questions. Why do I get so down on myself or so upset? Is this something bigger where maybe I feel like my performance on the slow pitch field has something to do with my self-worth as a human being? And I'm here to tell you, it doesn't. And I see this in youth baseball, youth fast pitch. It's really heartbreaking where kids associate their play on the field with how much their mom and dad loves them. And that's a really heartbreaking thing you see when parents don't unconditionally support their kids playing sports. And so as an adult, you have to ask yourself, do I unconditionally support myself? But a lot of people, for them, this is their first mount. Maybe this was like the first sport that you're really good at as a slow pitch player. Or maybe it's something that you want to be really good at. And every time you make a mistake, you feel like, oh, I'm not accomplishing this goal that's super important to my core identity as an adult. So you have to ask yourself some big questions about where that frustration and anger comes from. And I think if you're a mentor, a leader type in your dugout of slow pitch, I think if you see a player who has these real big frustration issues, if you can build some trust and build rapport with them and like check in with them, pull them aside and talk to them about this, maybe grabbing a beer after games, you could make a really big impact on them. That's how I've made an impact on younger players, doing that same thing. Like, hey, I know you're frustrated, but you're such a good pitcher. You can't show emotion like that because you check out. And then when you check out, now you can't be good for your teammates. And how you play on the field does not reflect your worth as a person, right? Those conversations are important to people at all ages. I know this is a long-winded answer on this one, but the frustration and anger that you see as adults is, I think, a trickier one to work out, but definitely something that fits in this category of mental skills for slow pitch softball. So thanks for watching. Jump in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you if you want to join this discussion, share your experiences with mental skills in slow pitch, maybe with teammates where you've seen their reactions to their frustration, their errors getting out. Anything you want to contribute, I'd love to hear from. If you jump on my other videos, you'll see that I comment quite a lot in these community discussions. So I really appreciate when you do leave a comment. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you here in the next video.